Mark Willard's in here, and man, last night I was tripping. I was driving home after dropping baby Chaz off at her grandparents. It's on 95.7 the game. I was like, I know that voice. And then I would hear the voice.
Who is that?
And then who's the other guy that you work with?
That's Ephraim Salaam.
That's Ephraim Salaam? Well, boy.
13-year NFL vet.
Well, I remember from Colorado, right? University of Colorado?
No. San Diego State, but
San Diego
that's okay.
State, all right.
Yeah, San Diego State.
My bad.
San Diego
Maybe I'm
State.
thinking of Rashawn Salaam, Heisman Trophy winner.
Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jags, Atlanta Falcons. He played in the Super Bowl with the Falcons.
He was hogging the mic on you yesterday.
I let him roll. You know what I mean?
I was like, man, watch Party Willard and get no touches today, baby.
It's different. Listen, I'll let everybody behind the curtain a little bit. It's different because I'm not in the same room with him. So you got to let each other. You got to let each other roll a little bit more, or else it turns into a hot mess real fast.
I was like, damn, wait, Willard, is he just doing
Plus,
updates?
I'm in my house, so Ephraim starts talking, and then I'll go do some laundry. Right? I go get a snack.
Yeah.
Right? Little guy needs some help in the other room. We do some homework.
Yeah.
We come back. Ephraim's still talking, and then I add my point. That's how it works on a Sunday. It's Sunday for crying out loud.
I need to follow that playbook. I mean, watch Party Willard.
You know,
don't see him 9 to noon.
Watch Party Willard.
Watch Party Willard Sunday Super Bowl. Who's in? Who's in?
Man.
Yeah.
I know you're all going to say no. That's why I asked. Are you in?
I'm a definite maybe right now.
I love definitely
very
maybe.
baby dependent.
It's a good Oasis album.
Oh, you having a watch
yeah.
party for the Super Bowl?
We'll do it. We always do it. You want to come?
I didn't even get in. No, I'm not coming.
No, I haven't sent out
No,
invites yet.
because I don't want to come.
I'm sending them out right now.
No,
I'm starting the invites right now.
This is a Super Bowl that I'm going to be watching with a lot of hate in my heart.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a little emotional about this one.
Why you got some hate, Bonte?
Because I
you
can't
got
stand
hot
Philadelphia.
dogs thrown at you?
Yeah.
You got showered with beer, Bonte?
Philadelphia was,
Why so angry?
I'm rooting so hard for Patrick Mahomes. It's not even funny. And it was like, oh, you want to go somewhere for the Super Bowl? I said, hell no. I'm on the couch right here. We treat it like another Sunday.
No, I know. This is when your team. This is 2 years in a row when your team has lost the NFC title game. It definitely takes some shine off the Super Bowl, and it also it shades the way you root for this thing. Like I was rooting hard for the Bengals last year, and this year, I don't know. I think I knew a lot of Niner fans that were like, man, we got to get the Chiefs back. I want the Chiefs. And now all of you turned into Chiefs fans because of your Eagles PTSD with what just happened. So I'm like, I don't even know who to root for in this one.
But not to do
I'm rooting for food.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
Food
doing.
will be
Not to do the moral victory thing, though, but what about that whole, well, if the Eagles win, then a Niner fan could say,
We lost to the best.
boom.
Nah, we're not rolling like that.
Well, I mean, normally I buy that, but when you lose to them in this fashion, you didn't really lose to them with your best foot forward. You lost to them with no foot forward. So to see them win it all like this, and especially based on what Bonte and Joe went through, and I feel you, and I mean, I admire you. I've told you this on air and off air. What you guys did, I could never do. I mean, I don't know what I would have done if the first time that happened. I probably would have been packing. Shout out Ja Morant. And I would not have been able to. I would not have been able to. I would not have been able to march through like you guys all did and take that level of hate from all those small, white, scrawny.
Got to be the big person.
Dibblies.
I love it.
Quite
I love it.
Young Dibblies.
Dude, there's so many. I'm like, oh my God, that reminds me of me in like 88,
You brought up Ja Morant. The tweets were rolling yesterday because this guy, I follow him on Twitter. I've never met him in person, but I feel like I know him. He's like a little brother named Beck. And Beke. Beak or Beck, whatever. I don't even know how he does it. Anyway, BK. Let's just call him BK. He tweeted this last year after the Warriors ousted the Memphis Grizzlies. Because Ja Morant told some dude with 40 followers, I got some hollow tips waiting for you. Like, these hollow tips are free. It's like, wait, what are you doing? So he has the greatest tweet last year. NBA tries so hard to make Ja Morant the face of the league, and he out here telling the dude with 17 followers a bullet is ready for him. Like, Ja Morant is what? Dude, first of all, tell your dad, stay home. It's time.
I heard that earlier. You're right.
Morant, you got to chill, dude. Take a lap. Hit the background. Or if you're going to sit somewhere, sit in the suite. You're talking too much. And then this whole infrared, the laser pointers, and everything like that. What are we doing?
Some people really dig the villain role, and it appears that whole organization has decided that that's them. I cannot figure out. Like every week, they do something to become more unlikable. And really, what's wild is they should be the opposite. They're actually they're on the doorstep of becoming what every fan really wants, which is this homegrown like group of people that all, suddenly bang, it pops and you can win in the NBA.
Small market.
Right. Like they could be the most likable team and everybody hates them because they're just awful.
They just
Their
do
behavior
terrible.
is just awful.
I don't know. And the maturity thing, it's such a real thing on the court and off the court. And honestly, so there's this whole back and forth now about Ja Morant. Is he from the hood? Is he from the suburbs? And that's something that just black people in general have to kind of maneuver, right? Because, no, I got to show you that I'm down. Where I don't really care where you're from, Ja. You have a ridiculous skill set. You have skills and athleticism that whether you believe in God or whoever, somebody gave to you, and you worked so hard to get to where you are. I don't care where you're from. You're going to blow all this for what? For what? For
because the Indiana Pacers
reason.
traveling party disrespected he
and
and
I
his
got to show you that I'm about that life. I mean, I thought he even got away with some stuff last year, going crazy on IG Live, doing some weird stuff, and they're only gonna put up with so much. And somebody in that camp, and look, it feels, we've said that the whole thing with his dad, we've said, okay, sometimes people can be harder on dads that are in the public eye.
Right.
And the other side of it is he just seems to be having a good time. But if he's around him, and not that everybody listens to their parents, but if he's around him, whether it's him, whether it's somebody else, somebody got to tell Ja, you're about to mess up a life-changing, a family, a generational changing situation because you want to be an idiot and because you want to show that you're hard. Just stop.
Yeah, which is funny because if you're from the hood, you do everything you could do to get out the hood.
Exactly.
And you may donate some things, you may come by every now and then, but ain't nobody going back and trying to be hard. That gangster life you leave behind you.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And somebody had a tweet yesterday, I retweeted it, where he's basically was like, look, dude, we work hard to get out of there. We want to get away from that lifestyle, and Ja Morant grew up with the basketball court in his backyard. So I don't know where this gangster mentality came from maybe he's just watching music videos.
But I think to your point, if he was really from the hood, he wouldn't be doing stuff like this.
Exactly. That's a good point.
You know what I mean? Because you don't have to prove to yourself anything, because you might have lost a homie from some real stuff going down. So I don't know. Somebody needs to sit him down and say, look, little homie, you are tripping.
Yeah,
big trip. He's on the
Also,
cusp of like hundreds of millions of dollars off the court because he's charismatic, he's electric, he's a player that we don't often see in terms of his skill set, his charisma, what he can do on the basketball court. So, I mean, forget all of the whatever, if it's fake tough or whatever it is that he's going through. He's missing out on that other end of the massive wealth that he can get from being a pitchman for the league forever.
Well, it's also a window into why the Grizzlies as an organization act like they act. You look at their head coach, the way he handles being down in a series or whatever, the way he handled all the press stuff with the Warriors last year. You look at Dylan Brooks and that whole story. Even Jaren Jackson getting under Klay Thompson's skin last year. All of that stuff. Like, one thing in sports that we can usually not see is leadership within a team. We don't know what's going on in the locker room and in practice. There's leadership. You want to look at why the Brooklyn Nets never worked? No leadership.
Yeah.
KD's not a leader.
No.
Kyrie Irving, not a leader. Who's the leaders? They don't have any leadership. And if Ja is the leader of the Grizzlies, it's no mystery as to why everybody on that team is arguing with Shannon Sharp in the middle of a damn basketball game because you're all a bunch of idiots. You're being led.
They're missing the mark.
Right.
Yeah. They're missing the mark.
You're being led astray.
You know what's wild is this whole thing, and obviously this would never happen, but you know who could really help them in his current role is Andre Iguodala.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't want to be there, but
exactly.
That's a guy that would say, this is not what we do in the league.
Didn't even have the respect to fly out there and tell him in person, thank you.
And that started all this.
Yeah.
That started all of this. With the Grizzlies.
It started Dibs' hatred
Don't
for
even get me
Iguodala,
started
too.
on Andre Iguodala.
Really?
Oh, the fact that you get traded at Memphis and I'm not showing up, and then okay, fine, whatever. You're an individual. You're a veteran. You've made $150 million or whatever you've made. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But then to come back to Golden State and cry openly into a mic about how underpaid you are because you had to sign a vet min deal and now you don't even have the ability to show up and play basketball. And you guys were talking before about Steph Curry and the injury and who the responsibility falls on. I put the responsibility on Andre Iguodala before Jordan Poole because Andre Iguodala, you're a veteran. Now's the time where you lace him up, my friend, and you actually help this team do something other than look good in your streets and coach up the youngsters.
Yeah. He warmed up on Saturday night.
Man, how was that?
Warmed up before the game.
Look good.
Warmed up and warmed right down.
We saw Darren Lewis and went over there to go chop it up with D. Lou.
I heard that. You introduced Sam Lubman, which was nice.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear your Brandon Crawford pregame. I just saw somebody tweet like, damn, Brandon Crawford's shorter than I thought. Might have been Kyle, because next to you and Festus.
If you put him next to NBA players, he's going to look like
did you grill him? Did you bring your Giants takes to him? Did you tell him what you told him on this radio station? Because I remember you talking about the Giants last year, and then I saw you with Brandon Crawford on the set, and I'm like, I hope Bonte put his feet to the fire.
I hope you looked at him and just said, Correa, am I right? I mean, my God.
We asked him about the recruiting pitches, and he did say they rolled out everything for Aaron Judge, but he gets it. Wants to be a Yankee forever. He respects it. No, he kept it cool with Brandon Crawford. Man, it's fan fest. Everybody's feeling good about the Giants. You know, TV radios.
I don't know about
TV
that.
Bonte's a little different than radio Bonte.
Everybody feeling good about
There's
the
the tweets that
Giants.
say there's the radio Bonte and the television Bonte.
Dude, I'm not mad at you. I've been there. I totally get it, dude. I
Who
get
butters
it.
the bread.
Exactly.
We're not going to grill. Hey, Brandon Crawford, man. You go back 4-4, man. Y'all going to suck this year, dog. Like, hey, man, you know what? It was good. We had a good time, man. Good time.
And I do love TV Bonte because you're doing a great job. Radio Bonte's got a little bit more edge. I saw the picture. I'm like, I wonder if Bonte went and grilled him, and I knew fully well that you did.
Ask him about Fan Fest. You got to remember NBC carries Giants games. You don't want to piss off NBC and in San Francisco Giants because they're all watching.
You're doing
so
great.
I'm just trying to, Brandon Crawford, first time talking to him, and he had J's on. I had to respect him. He came in with the purple fives. Looked really good.
Okay.
He had the Jesus piece on. He had some gold. Some silver. Some Jordan hoodie. I was like, all right, B. Craw, got some swag.
Well, we were
and his
talking...
wife was there. I'm not going to do that to him in front of his wife.
Dibs is trying to set you up. Dibs trying to set you up.
I'm not taking
trying
the bait.
to keep it real, Alex.
Don't take the bait. Well, that's the thing we talked about.
There's no damn well feels in that spot.
Dude, I'm keeping the buck, Alex.
No.
Hey, Brandon, what about that play you made last year in Game 75 against the Pirates? Oh, what a dive to the right you had.
You should have seen me at FanFest back in the day when I was on the other side and I was like, interviewing the players. I was like, oh, Pablo, you look so slender. You look great. Dude, trust me. I've been there.
So now you got you two rolling. TV Bonte's not Filmo Bonte. TV Bonte plays slow pitch softball.
Well, you call out San Franceschi, so
Well, San Franceschi, the warrior of the show. Yeah, there are two Shaskys.
I do want to throw this out real quick because I think you said this and I agreed with you because I found myself yesterday, baby sleeping. We got a good long nap, and so I'm watching Pebble Beach, but I found myself watching that NFL, whatever it was.
Pro Bowl games.
I liked it.
I
liked it.
It was fun.
I can't. I watched none of it, so I can't speak on it. They're playing highlights on Fox last night, and I'm like, this sounds like the most boring thing I've ever seen.
It wasn't though.
But that's not a fair.
I can see how the highlights would look pretty stupid. But it's what? It's 11, 12 on a Sunday. If you have nothing better to do, there's no football.
I like the linemen pushing this big old sled with the weights on it. That was pretty cool.
And then they had the catching one that kind of doubled as their version of a dunk contest.
A little bit of a dud for me, but
tweak some things. We might. I see the vision. I see the vision.
Didn't we also get a Myles Garrett injury out of this?
Yes.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I just think my wonder where my mind goes is where's this all going to go next? So 10, 20 years, we're all going to sit around. We'll all be fired by then, and we'll find some bar.
Damn.
And we'll sit around in a circle. Right, you'll be 74 years old. You'll be fine. Anyway, we'll be sitting around in a circle, and we're going to have drinks, and it'll be Monday after the Pro Bowl. And what are we going to be talking about? Did two pass rushers play hide and seek? Like, what
I'm
happened?
here for that.
Right? Are we playing?
Yeah.
Are we playing tag?
Yeah.
Where is this going next? Is there a chess match that we're gonna watch? Are they playing Monopoly, Double Dutch? Where's this going next?
They had about 50,000 there at Allegiant Stadium.
Dude, it was packed.
It was
packed.
thick in there.
It was
Yeah,
packed.
because it was $30 or $40.
Right,
That's
right.
why.
Still,
Right.
Like, that's a drink in Vegas.
Dude,
you can't do anything for
The
$30
flag
in
football
Vegas.
game, Kirk Cousins with fist pumps as they were
Dude,
able to tie the
he
game.
was amped
Dude,
up.
they were
He
into
was
it.
amped.
Yeah.
Dude, he was
Wow.
out there yelling like it was the second round of the playoffs.
Derek
This was-
Carr throwing picks.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah,
Kirk
I knew
Cousins.
that. You see me tweet poor Derek Carr.
Come on.
One more pick in Allegiant.
Kirk Cousins won and
One more
only
loss at Allegiant.
It was his one and only February appearance. You got to
He
let him
took
have
another L at Allegiant. Oh, poor Derek Carr.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're killing me. Mark, they were
man.
into it, and I'm with Styles. I was watching it, and I wanted to watch the golf because I love the Pebble Beach Pro-Am, and I knew it'd be delayed. I think they're finishing this morning, whatever. But I always watch that tournament on Sunday. But I found myself more watching the
It was
NFL.
good.
It was entertaining.
Even Baby
Yeah.
Chess sat there and watched a little bit
I didn't
of
want to
it.
watch it, but I couldn't
yeah,
help it.
I couldn't help it.
I think it's
Yeah.
the same way. It depends on what you want to get out of it. If you're trying to see some hardcore competition, then no, it's not
Right.
for you. But
Right.
I do think it's entertaining in that seeing athletes do athletic stuff, but just a little bit differently, and it's a little
Yeah.
bit more fun, the dodgeball and all that stuff. If there's nothing else on, I like it. It's the same these shows and podcasts when you have
Right.
like Serge Ibaka and his cooking show, just
Right.
seeing athletes do things you don't normally see them do.
Diggs
But
throws a pick, taken away by his brother.
No, it was cool.
Exactly.
Diggs on Diggs crime.
Dude,
some
I
of that.
paused it. Baby Chess went down for a nap. I turned off all the lights. I paused it. Dude,
Wow.
I paused it. I was like, I
Oh
don't
my
want to
gosh.
miss
Don't wanna
these
miss.
last 2 minutes of session 3 of the flag football game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was all in.
Oh, man.
You know?
Dude, I was in. I was in for sure.
all right,
was it.
we're not doing this whole thing without a little Steph. What
Okay.
do we got? What do we got? What are you hearing, man? What are you hearing?
Well,
First of all, I'm with you. I had never even heard of these body parts.
yeah.
What the hell was that? What was it? What were those words?
I got to see biology in 10th grade. Maybe
I
because
love that
Mr.
tweet.
Kolsky,
Yeah.
Mr. Kolsky liked me, baby, but I didn't pay much attention.
Matt's mom? Any relation
Football.
to Matt Kolsky?
No, Matt Kolsky. No, this Kolsky was with an I, not a Y.
Okay.
But
I'll
he gave
allow
me a
it.
C. Shout out to Mr. Kolsky, wherever you're at.
Superior tibiofibular ligaments
Yeah,
and
of
interosseous membrane.
Interosseous.
Yeah.
Interosseous. Oh, sorry. Interosseous.
Interosseous.
I've been going interosseous.
Interosseous.
Nice.
That's erroneous with my
Sounds like your lady a
interosseous.
little bit.
Interosseous.
Nah, not even close.
Yeah, maybe it's my ears.
Yeah.
Partial tears to his superior
Hey,
tibiofibular
man.
ligaments.
It's
the voice.
Go ahead, Alan.
Interosseous.
Membrane.
Is that the
Exactly.
Google lady though? Because she's not always right. She's not always right. Interosseous.
From a voiceover man himself.
yeah.
I think the two S's makes
Mark
it.
Willard. We know
the
he's
I.
always right.
Well,
One S would have been the O.
did
Yeah.
you
That's
what I'm
like?
going
Did you
with.
like my black denim at Fan Fest? I was there.
How about Cape Kaplan tweeting at Marcus Thompson? I guess Marcus sent out a tweet about the best rhymes
That
to
was
start a
great,
song.
yeah.
And Kaplan coming in, straight up, we know Angel Dust, label us
Capel,
notorious.
Cap will try to throw you flavor when you give him a chance. You give him an opening, he'll do it.
But are we thinking are we good with it, or does it come off as if it's how do you do, fellow young people? Does he pull it off or not?
I think he pulls it off.
I feel like for the
Sometimes.
most part he pulls it off.
For the most
Yeah.
part.
I got it.
Yeah.
He pulls it off when they have a winning record. He doesn't
That's
when
true.
they don't.
Right.
Now
It's that simple.
Now we're headed into Mike McDaniel category.
Totally.
Is
Right.
Is
It's
the
quirky and
shtick-
fun.
Right. When you're winning, the shtick's great.
Yeah.
Right.
When you're losing, I don't want to hear about you going to outside lands because we are fifth in the division.
Well, that's any coach. And as we bring it back to the Warriors, the criticism of Steve Kerr at 27 and 26 on you should play the young guys and all the rest of the things that people are saying about Steve, if they were 40 and 13, you've got nothing to say to Steve Kerr. You've got no, like, if he's playing Wiseman, Moody, and Kuminga the same way, and they're 40 and 13, no one's got a thing to say about Steve Kerr. And so that's where it becomes interesting with the Steph Curry injury, and he's likely out until, well, sure, through the All-Star break, but maybe an additional week after that.
What is multiple weeks? What does that mean?
We're going to find out later in the week.
2 weeks?
We're going to find out
Multiple
later in
is-
the week.
Multiple to me is 3 to 5.
Right.
3 to 5.
And what-
Multiple.
How did you get that?
Because a couple is 2, and a few is 3, and many is where you get to 4 or 5 and beyond. But multiple is between a couple and many.
It's technically anything 2 or more. It could be 200.
But you've got the All-Star break, and so you know that he's not going to get reevaluated. It won't be a reevaluation sensation until after the break.
There's got to be something that they don't know yet. They don't know. Like, that's a weird to have this.
Well, Doc Pandia said this is not a typical surgery injury, so now it's just a question of stability and strength.
Yeah. Oh.
Bruce Lee night at Chase Center as the Warriors host the Thunder. Bruce Lee got the cool pulsers here with Klay Thompson. I don't know, man. Couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I think they're going to play it by how they play. So if they go 5-4 over the next 9 and they're still hovering around the 6, 7, 8 spot, I think they'll be cautious with Stephen Curry and hold about a week because this thing's going to go down to the wire.
Yeah.
There's no separation here from 12 to 4. So, but it just, does it alter the way Bob Myers thinks about the trading deadline? Do you even make a move whether Steph is hurt or not? You know what I'm saying? There's just so many questions.
Earlier about the front office and the coaching staff. Is there a divide between, especially James Wiseman? Are there some people in ownership or above who think some kind of way about James that the general manager and the coach don't think? So when it comes down to that, who has the ultimate trump card in terms of do we trade James Wiseman? Because it's always felt to me like Wiseman was a Lacob pick, one of the various Lacobs, and that Bob Myers and Steve Kerr have never bought into the Wiseman pick. So as we get closer to the deadline and Bob's extension still hangs out there, is this a bigger thing than just James Wiseman?
Right. No, it's a great question. And if you're not going to play him, then what do you do with him? To me, it feels like Kerr doesn't have a lot of patience with youngsters. Remember back in 2018, Media Day, he was discussing Jordan Bell and Quinn Cook and Jacob Evans and McCall. We're going to lean on the youngsters early in the season to kind of get us through. The veterans have played a lot of basketball, and that plan went awry in like the first week of the season.
Right.
Okay. It was all KD, all Steph, all Clay, all Draymond, all Livingston and Iguodala. Same thing I think has happened this year to where I thought Steve didn't have a lot of patience with the youngsters because it looks laughable now that Kuminga's picking up DNPs early in the season.
It does.
Like he should have been playing through his mistakes.
Well, I wonder this, too. I mean, there's history here, obviously, with these players, and therefore a 500 record doesn't maybe resonate the way others do. But let's go to any sport. Normally, if you're 500 at the deadline, that is not a time where you mortgage the future for the now. And so how do you feel? And I'm not big on Wiseman right now. I'm not real bullish on his future, but put that aside for a second. If you give up a bunch of young pieces to bring in something that augments Steph, Clay, Dre, and then they're not even healthy down the stretch, and you're a first round out, and then Dre opts out and Clay's going into the fight, like how do you feel in 2.5 months if you gave up young pieces for a big nothing burger?
Yeah.
I think that that's a risk right now. I tell you this, eras end, and you usually don't know right away. I'm not saying this era's over. I don't even know how long Steph's out. But a comp popped into my head when Steph went out, and I started thinking of Tom Brady retiring. And if you remember last year, January of last year, playoffs against the Rams, they're down 27-3. Tom rallies them. And I mean, it is an epic playoff game that the Rams end up winning, but the Bucs are coming off a title, and then they have an epic playoff out. And then Tom comes back, and we'll remember it as, oh, he won the division, and blah, blah. They were 8-9.
They were terrible.
They were a middling 500 team who then got to the playoffs and immediately got knocked out in their first game. Does it sound familiar, Warrior fans, if this team, which doesn't play defense, gets whacked out in the first round, like especially if Steph is hurt for a while? I don't know. And then going into all the contractual stuff, like all I'm saying is it's possible this era is over and we just don't even know it yet.
I did keep saying over and over again once Steph went down, just looking at this season, I'm just so happy the Warriors won it all last season. So happy because it takes so much to win a championship. And when you win 4, sometimes, as a fan base, you might forget that a lot of things got to go right.
Right.
A lot of things have to go right in order to go all the way. And, we're seeing now with Steph being out. Going back to Steve Kerr, it is interesting because, Bonte, you said that, not Steve Kerr's best coaching job, But this is a very unique use case for Steve Kerr to be in. He came in, these guys were young. They kind of all grew up together. You get Kevin Durant, and now all of a sudden you have these down years because your guys got injured, right? And now you have these top picks. So now you have to add in these new guys.
Develop them.
But you still have the championship that you're trying to win. Normally, these coaches, you either have a championship team that you're trying to get over the top, or you have a team that's young and you're trying to get there. So Steve Kerr hasn't had to do this before, and a lot of coaches haven't had to do it, period.
No doubt. You haven't had to do it. And I think where Steve Kerr has failed this year is when you got all these coaches on the bench. You got more coaches than players, right?
Right.
So what's going on with the development? Including Iguodala.
Will you leave him be?
Right.
Never.
I mean,
Never.
you got a lot of coaches on this bench.
Don't even try.
What's
In the
going on in the
crosshairs.
practices? Are these guys practicing? What's going on with that? Should they go back and forth to the G League? I have no idea. No idea whatsoever. But Steve Kerr and the veterans, they've blown a lot of games here. You know, a lot early in the season was, blame the youngsters, blame this. The veterans are blowing leads.
The bench was blamed early,
Bench was blamed. Stephen Curry's had some atrocious turnovers down the stretch in Minnesota and Denver. So he hasn't had to do it, but this is why you're paying us one of the top dogs.
Yeah.
Popovich had to do it at some point. You know what I'm saying? I get
I
Phil
don't blame
Jackson's
him
an
for the
outlier.
Kuminga development because he has developed, and now he's in the rotation.
And Jordan Poole has
I
developed.
look at Moses Moody and wonder where Moses Moody is. Why is he not the player that he was last year in April and May when he was at least playable?
Right.
And I look at James Wiseman, and I think that was an organizational mistake in terms of him fitting in with the way this team likes to play. It doesn't mean James can't be good, but I don't think he can be good with this team playing the way that they like to play, with the pass and the cut and the ball movement and all the rest of it, because Kevon Looney is perfect for this team. Hey, Kevon, get to the top of the key, set a pick, and then we're good with you for the rest of this possession.
You know, that's a great point, Dibs. Their bigs play just different. Screens.
Right.
That's why Kelly Olynyk is a guy, if you make a trade, I'm like, you know what? He fits what the Warriors want.
Yeah.
He's only going to play about 15, 20 minutes a game. He's not going to take you over the top. It comes out to the dudes, right? Steph, Dre, Clay, Wiggins, or whatnot. But a guy like that where he's going to be a bruiser, he's going to be able to pass and cut, he's going to know where to be. Wiseman, look, he may one day be a 25-point-per-game scorer. He may not be. But offensively, he does things. When you hear from Warriors scouts, Warriors coaches, this guy offensively, he's got it. He's got it. But on this team, this may not fit what we want. And that's where when you draft them and you don't look at that, you say, well, we're going to turn them into what we want. It's probably a mistake.
They drafted a centerpiece center running an offense that doesn't feature a center.
Right.
Exactly.
So-
Square peg, round hole. And
But it made sense at the time.
It made
It's the
sense at the
only thing
time.
that they didn't have. Like how many? None of us.
Right.
And I know that this is a simplistic way to look at the game, but you're sitting there looking at the Warrior roster at the time, going, you got the Splash Brothers,
right?
You got Draymond who's going to run the show, and then whatever else is going on at the at the small forward or the other wing or whatever. You had all of these fireflies running all over the floor, and you're like, if you could own the paint with something dynamic, also. It's unstoppable.
Yeah.
Right? It made simple sense at the time, but from all the things that we don't see, the defensive side of the court is not workable.
And tough to scout him on 3 games at Memphis where he played 68 total college basketball minutes. So it was a reach, and it looks like it was a miss, but now we are. Thursday's the trade deadline. All eyes on Wiseman. Does he get moved? And if he doesn't get moved, if they don't add, do they have enough to make a run?
Yeah.
We'll discuss.
But was it a reach, though?
Oh, yeah. It was a reach. A guy who had not played any college basketball, who he had no tape.
But I liked
but he was the presumptive number 1 pick at the start of the college basketball year just because he didn't play a whole lot. That happens to a lot of guys. What did Kyrie play? 11 games? You know what I mean? Like, he was
fewer actually. I think he played closer to 7.
Yeah, he was the guy that we were hearing about. So
if this was 1996, I'm with you.
Yeah, no, but you call it a miss. I wouldn't call it a reach.
I still would have selected LaMelo Ball, though. I don't think LaMelo Ball, although he's a good passer, what happens with Jordan Poole?
Yeah.
What happens with Steph and Clay?
LaMelo gave my pitch.
LaMelo Ball's not coming off no bench. He's not. All right. Willard and Dibs coming up.